Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. Welcome back to Jackpot, Nevada. Nevada. There's an ongoing debate about that. So, I'll tell you a couple things. The game patched over. We are now in 1.31.0.7, I believe. For my API, I went ahead and selected DirectX. I think that's a fantastic render, and that's coming in we're at 78 FPS. And we're out here in a parking lot on the edge of town. But I'm super pleased with that. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the patch, or if that's just the way it goes. Now, I do have a ton of mods running. I say a ton. Not nearly as many as ETS, but there's probably 25 or 30 mods running in there. I don't know what the patch is going to do to them. I just downloaded it an hour ago. So it could be that we have some mod incompatibility. If it happens early in the episode, I'll just cut it off and you'll never see it. If it happens at the end of the episode, you'll hear me saying goodbye over a black screen. I'll sort out the mods and we'll take it from there. Right, let's find a job and get out of town. Not that there's anything wrong with Jackpot, Nevada. Nevada. Right, there's supposed to be some new cargoes. Some new kinds of trailers. I don't see them. There's supposed to be some centerline low dump tandem trailers that I like the look of. Right. Where do we want to go? We just came from Las Vegas. We were there recently, weren't we? Yeah. Looks like everything is going. That's too long. Bakersfield? Possibility. Reno? Yeah, let's go to Reno because that's going to be just about the right length of trip. I didn't sleep. It's 2 in the afternoon. We're in the 579, which I love. It's not nearly as cool as the 389. But I also, if you're watching ETS, you know I've been struggling with the face tracking, but I think I have it sorted, and we'll wait till we get on the road. That's a whole nother thing. But face tracking, man, when you can get it working, and I think maybe I have, you know what, I'm just going to go back around this way. When you can get your face tracking working, oh, it's a whole thing. I love it. Definitely changes the game. Now, I only got it for Flight Sim, but I haven't even played a Flight Sim since I got it. I've just been using it for Truck Sim and Farm Sim. Very pleased with it so far. So, one of the things, man, I never even know where to start when we hop in here, because I always have so many things to tell you. So we are in the new patch, and the new patch has with it, or brings with it, or includes now, airlines, air hoses, and I'm hoping the trailer that I'm going to pick up is not a mod trailer. I should have gone for it. I'm hoping the trailer we pick up is not a mod trailer and the lines are active. Or that it gives us a choice and we can select. Now it is 3 in the afternoon, Jackpot to Reno. We'll probably have to sleep. So what I'll do is, I'll drive till dark. And then I'll get up and we'll, come on, track. There it goes. We'll sleep till, well, we'll sleep all night. I know. I'm a little Melvin right now. Got a lot going on. Yeah, we'll drive till dark. We'll sleep till morning, and then try to drive today in daylight and finish in daylight tomorrow. It won't work out that way, but we can try it. And there's also the possibility when I hit the button here, it's going to crash the game. But I'm not starting a new profile. I'm just not going to do it. Right. So this looks like they're not giving us any options. So I think this is just a regular SCS trailer. Let's hope. I'll hop outside for this. No, can't tell. I think maybe that's a mod trailer. We'll see. Find out in a minute. I don't know how this is coming through. We're capturing on Shadowplay today. I don't know how this is coming through, but it looks, from here it looks great. Alright, we're looking for, quiet you. We're looking for nope. I saw a little jump there. I saw the hoses kind of flicker. The airlines, like they wanted to connect, but they didn't. Right. 372 miles, 6 hours. So I don't know. There's some bug fixes in the patch. I don't know if they optimized anything. I don't know if me being in DirectX. I don't know what the default was. Tracking, get out there. There it goes. I don't know what the default launch was. We may have been in DirectX the whole time. May be relatively new, but we're in DirectX now. And I don't know if there were just bug fixes or if they cleaned up the code. I know they added, I guess they're working toward Yosemite. They want to include Yosemite in the game. And they added the airlines. I'm trying to think what else. Can't think off the top of my head. But certainly seems to be running nice and smooth and crisp. So we'll see what happens with the... Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see what happens with the Steam Workshop as far as the mods. Face tracking. So it turns out there's just a whole wad of settings in there, and I had to go in and just play with them one by one. And there's some speed sensitivities. There are there are curves, so you can determine how far an amount of movement in the real world reflects an amount of head movement in the game. And I have this set so 10 to 15 degrees of me turning my head gives like 45 degrees on the left and 90 degrees on the right. A little bit of up and down. There's no roll there's no roll axis for the camera. What would you call that? Yeah, roll. There's no roll axis for the camera in ATS or ETS, so I have that turned off. I had front to back. Well, initially I had all 6-axis fired up. I have 6-axis. I want to use 6-axis, and then I realized that was dumb. Side to side. I mean, how often do you move side to side in a truck? And up and down, obviously. And I'm talking sliding up and down, not looking up and down. We can still look up and down, but there's no like lifting yourself up in your seat. And the last one I kept was front to back, and the reason was so we could peek forward and like look over the wheel at the gauges. And eventually I took that up too and realized it's a little bit hokey. So that just leaves us with 2 axes of rotation. So we've got left to right and up and down. And I have roll turned on in the curves, but there's no complementary roll axis in the camera in ATS, so we can have it. It just doesn't control anything, so I'll take that out at some point. And then I went ahead and adjusted the rest of those settings as far as the transitions from slow to fast, how the camera responds to, wow, is this looking really good today? Am I just imagining that, or does this look way better than it ever has before? Holy smokes. I don't know if I don't know if that's how I'm rendering it. I don't know if that's something the patch did, or I don't know. But man, I think that looks fantastic. Great. So I got all those settings tuned, and I still feel like it's a little floaty, but it's not jumping around anymore. I also learned a lot about lighting and how you want your room lit if you're going to have face tracking. I'm running no hardware face tracking, so it's literally just tracking my eyes like a sentient robot that's going to kill me in my sleep. So it's very important that there's good contrast and that it can see, essentially it can see your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. And if it can see those things, it can track pretty well. So it turns out there were a lot of things that I was doing not as well as I could have. Buddy, you're killing me. Come on. I was still able to use all my mod trucks and mod engines. I don't really have any mod trucks right now. I was running the Viper 389, but those mirrors, just wasn't able to get those mirrors sorted out. And it's a little bit disappointing because, you know, there's always some, if you go to a forum and you find a problem, there's always some jackwagon that's like, oh, just buy a faster computer. Works fine for me. I've got a 16 core, 64 gig RAM. It's platinum. It's a NVIDIA GeForce Platinum 1090 Ti Platinum. Doesn't everybody have one of those? No, man, not everybody has one of those. So, I mean, my system is good enough to render the game as far as what you're seeing right now. So, it seems odd to me that I can't render one more mirror. And I don't call out mods. I tend to, I blame myself, I blame my system, my hardware. Not blame myself like, I'm going to throw myself off a building, but just, but just I accept responsibility for it. I guess that's a better way to say it. Like if there's a problem, I'm always willing to say, well, it must be something on my end. I'm not going to blame the developer or the mod creator. But in this case, there are threads that are, you know, very clear about the fact that something about the 389 Viper or the Viper 389. At any rate, that was the only mod truck that I was running. And it's gone now. So I don't have any mod trucks. I have a bunch of mod engines and transmissions and obviously a bunch of parts and goodies. And I'm not running any mod maps. And just for the sake of testing, because we got a new patch in, I didn't bring in, I'm running reshaded SweetFX and ETS2 now. I did not bring that in, so we're running some physics mods, we're running engines and transmissions, and everything that I had installed seems to be holding up with the new patch. And, you know, sometimes that's not the case, so pleased about that. 5:30. Got a couple more hours of daylight. Well, if we get a move on, we might. No. I'll get the cruise control set, and I'll take a look at how long we have to go before we sleep. I'm guessing we have to sleep in about 2 hours, if I can. I'm trying to eyeball the little blue icon there, the little sleepy time icon. I say 2 hours, that's my bad. So a little disappointed I wasn't able to show you the airlines, but you know. Can't always get what you want. Yeah, it's been a minute since we did an ATS video, and I know you've heard me say this like 1,000 times. I like this game. I wish I liked it more. There's just something about it that doesn't work for me. Right. Oh, okay. We don't have to sleep for 4 hours and 43 minutes. And the job is estimated to arrive in 4 hours and 42 minutes. So let's just speed. I mean, not crazy speed, not like 100, but let's say 75. See if we can get there a little sooner, and that will also bring us in. Well, we'll have to do the last couple hours in the dark, but a couple hours of game time, which will be about 6 minutes in real life. So yeah, let's just do that. Keep it simple. Frame rate is jumping all over the place right now, but now it's stabilized again. It's happy. So with the new patch, we could be loading scenery. I noticed when I very first new patch, and I pulled out. There was one mod we were running, but I pulled it out. But it reset us back to Phoenix, back to our home base. So when I started the game, we were in Phoenix, and we've done a lot of trips in and around Phoenix. So I took us to the farthest place from Phoenix that I could find, which was Jackpot up in northern Nevada, and I noticed it was really, seemed to me, whoa, easy player, whoa, why is he doing that? Why would he drive like that? Yeah, it's because this 579 is a little like that. It's sort of, it's a little, you know, floaty. You got me floating. I'm a hot mess today. That's what it is. It might just be me, but the AI, just for the moment, seems a little smarter. Man, I would love that. The AI is probably the most frustrating part of this game for me. This and ETS. Right. We don't quite need headlights yet. Go for a little while longer. Right. So face tracking, patch. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all I got. So other than that, nothing. Let's just. Where are we going? Reno. Reno? Yeah, we're going to Reno. We'll just head down the mountain here. See how it goes. I also read in the forums on SCS Soft, the ATS crowd is constantly just saying, why can't you have the whole United States? Come on, what's the big deal? And SCS Soft and Pavel are like, man, it's like 300 million square miles. It's an outrageous amount of territory. Back off, son, we'll get to it. And I also saw something they said, the DLC for New Mexico, one of the threads, it said that New England, all of New England, would fit into New Mexico. So as we start moving east, and I don't know if they're going to do, it would seem to me that it has to be contiguous, right? So it would seem to me that they can't have, because right now it started with California and Arizona. Then they added, it started with California and Nevada. Then they added Arizona. And they added New Mexico. Oregon is next. That one is already on the way. That'll be here soon in development. And then I'm guessing Washington next, and that will be the whole West Coast, maybe up to Vancouver. But if they wanted to go the other way, right? Like I've been playing a lot of Train Sim lately. I got Train Sim World, CSX, and you've got CSX, which is Maryland, and then loading. CSX is Maryland, Rapid Transit is Germany, Great Western Express is UK, and so floaty. Why'd he do that? And then Northeast Corridor is New Jersey and New York. So those are different places. I forget what I said about the AI. It's still a little wonky. The thing about that is, you're not really expecting a train line in the UK and a train line in Germany to be connected, at least not directly. I know I'm speeding, trying to make up some time so we finish this trip in one trip and don't have to sleep. You're not expecting Germany and the UK to be connected. So if they did model parts of, say, the eastern US, you would essentially have two separate maps and you could pick one to play on at any given time. There would be no way to connect them. If you were going to connect them, then that would be continuous or contiguous, as the case may be. Man, this is just, whoa. Was that the apocalypse? This is just a handful today. It's a barrel of monkeys. Anyway, you see what I'm saying. It has to be contiguous. Contiguous. They just have to add states next to the states that they already have. They can't jump to the East Coast because there'd be no way to get there. It would be like having two separate maps. So, That being said, I guess what he was getting at by mentioning New England was when they get toward the Northeast, because the cities and the scenery is so much more dense than out west, they will be able to. They're not going to release a Rhode Island DLC, right? It's going to be New England, or they won't release they'll release it in big chunks. That was the impression that I got. What do I know? I'm just some guy. This is, for some reason, this is really, it's not hard, but I'm just kind of gripped right now, on my toes. Could be because I haven't done this for a while, and these trucks are very different than ETS2 trucks. You wouldn't think that. The truck is a truck, but they feel really different. Particularly this one. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the 389 is heavier or something, or I don't know. But this truck does. I've always felt like it just floats all over. So it goes. Yeah. So we'll see where they go with the DLC. I know Oregon is next, and it's if they represent this game from Seattle to Dallas, right? So down the West Coast. Wow, I'm just fighting this truck. So down the West Coast and then east to Texas. And Texas is right next to New Mexico, so I have to think that would be the next DLC after Oregon would have to be Texas. But at that point, then you just fill in the mountain states, and then the Midwest, and then the Northeast and the Southeast, and that's it. You're done. So we'll see. I think it's going to take a couple of years, but think how long it took to get all of Europe in for ETS2, and what you started with, or what we started with, and now between base game content, DLC, and mods, you can go from Iceland to Moscow. You can go beyond Moscow, but I never have, because that's just not how I get down, but you know what I'm saying. The game certainly seems to be rendering smoother and faster. Could just be me. Right, our bed just turned red. And we get our 3 warnings, we get a couple of fines, and then we start falling asleep at the wheel. I didn't sleep before we started the trip. I didn't want to drive in the dark. And it was 3 in the afternoon, so even if we had gone to sleep, well, anyway, here we are. I was just trying to drive in daylight. Don't have the cruise control set. I'm going to be all over the place with the throttle. But we're almost there. So that's a good thing. I seem to remember in the patch notes, I seem to remember something also about Skybox. So I don't know. I just remembered it, which made me think about it. Whoa. Which made me look at it. I can't really tell. but I'm focused on the road pretty intently. I'm not really looking at the skybox. I'll check it out on the replay. See how it looks. Start quick. Seems to anyway. Almost there, so didn't do too much driving at night. I just did a train video, just posted it, and it's kind of a new sim to me. It's Train Sim World, and I just jumped in randomly. I couldn't sleep last night. Insomnia. Couldn't sleep, so oh dear. So I got up and just hopped on the sim. It was middle of the night. I was half asleep, and the service that I jumped into was early morning, and I thought it would be dawn, but it was early dawn, which is also known as night. So as much as I'm really trying not to do nighttime videos, I hopped on Train Sim and inadvertently did another one. So it goes. I'm not digging all that picket fence at that bridge right there. And my settings are just about as high, I think, as I can go, dear. About as high as they can be and still run the game with any decent speed. I don't know how we didn't hit that whole mess back there, but we didn't. Reno. Spent a lot of time in Reno. I think I've mentioned that previously. I used to live right over the hill. Braking a little bit more. So, bump some cars on these downhills. All right. See what we're doing. Good there. Good there. Yeah, the head tracking, face tracking is not quite intuitive yet, but I'm confident that once I get all the settings dialed, it absolutely will be. And FPS is way down. We're in a city, so it's way down. I wish it didn't do that, but I mean, I don't know that there's any way to get away from it when you're adding a ton of poly and a ton of texture to the scene. How, you know, I think the only way to get away from it would be to, well, there's never going to be a way to get away from it in that your frame rate is always going to be higher when there's less to render than when there's more to render. That's just math. That's nobody's fault. But I think if you want to hold 60 FPS in towns, then you need to have either your settings dialed in a way that you're holding 120 FPS when you're out in the woods, out in the middle of nowhere, or you have to run a system that allows you to hold 60 FPS in cities with your graphics turned up. This one, I remember this one. You know, I'd love to do it all in cab, but I have to say realistically, in this one I sort of can't, even on a good day, and even less so with the face tracking. Trust me, I've done this before, and it looks like it. Right. I know there are people that can do this in cab. I've seen it done. But it's not being done by me tonight. This looks random. I know this looks chaotic, but there's a plan at work here. Right. Okay, that was not part of the plan. There is a plan. That bit. Not part of the plan. I'm not happy about this park job, but I am happy about the patch, I'm happy about the render, and I'm happy about the face tracking, so could be worse. Well, I am feeling like the lighting is a little bit off tonight. What's going on there? Could just be me. One more pass. One more swing. Oh, man, this is... I know you've seen me do better than this, so you know this is not my finest hour. There we go. Good grief. Okay. See how we did. Cool. Made some money on time, no damage. Oh, hey, and we leveled up. Great. Next episode, we will have a skill point to assign. Folks, thank you so much for stopping back to check out Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of American Truck Simulator, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.